In this video, we're going somewhere completely new. Let me show you Palm Beach, Australia. Hi everyone, for anyone that saw my last video, you'll know that I'm currently out in Sydney, Australia, so the complete opposite side of the world to where I usually come to you from in the middle of England. But hey, next week I'll be joining Coral Princess for a shorter cruise out of Sydney, which I can't wait for. It still feels pretty weird to be saying that that's next week, but yeah, can't wait, and I'm going to be taking you guys with me. Now, after I booked that cruise, it became pretty apparent that from an excursionist point of view, if you wanted to do the typical Sydney attractions like tour of the Opera House, go and climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge, jump on a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, or even just go on a coach and get a tour of the city, you absolutely could do that, and the cruise line were offering, to be honest, pretty decent prices for doing those sort of things. But what they didn't offer was, if you wanted to explore a little bit further afield and go to what I would probably call real Sydney, or real Australia, then yeah, there wasn't really too many options to do that. Now, in my last video, I showed you if you hired a car and went for probably up to 2 hours north, what could you explore up there? So hopefully you've seen that one. But today we're going to look at something slightly different. This one is probably sticking to maybe the more traditional beachy route that you would think of when you think of Australia. And we're going to head up to the beach that Home and Away was filmed on. Now, for anyone that isn't aware, Home and Away is a TV show that is based here in Australia. They do their indoor filming in Sydney in a studio, and they do most of their outdoor shots at a place called Palm Beach, which is about 1 hour north of Sydney. So today we're going to head over there. We're going to see, apparently there's a lighthouse that we can walk to, which will be worth the drive. From where I am right now, so I'm currently in the western suburbs, which if you look at Sydney on a map, city here, river here, I'm just along here a little bit, and it's going to take me pretty much the same amount of time to come across country to the ocean as what it would if you were in Sydney to drive north. So it's pretty much a 1 hour drive that we'll be taking you guys on, and when we get there we're going to look at Palm Beach, we're going to look at the lighthouse, and we're also going to look at some of the other beaches nearby. So this would be an option for you if, hey, maybe you live in Sydney, maybe you live in Australia, maybe you are coming here on a cruise ship, or maybe you're just coming here on holiday. There's so many different options here. You can get to where we're going using public transport, which I'm not going to advise on public transport today because I won't be using it, but you also can jump in an Uber, you also can hire a car pretty easily from Sydney as a city. So yeah, let's go and get in the car and I will take you to Palm Beach. Okay, so after driving for about 30 minutes, I'm now on what they call the northern beaches. Now, not on Palm Beach yet, that's about another 20 minutes away from here, but from, about 25-30 minutes north of Sydney, you begin to hit the more, what I would probably call residential beaches. So where I am right now, although I can't show you because it would be a little bit awkward to do it, it's like a residential street with houses on either side, and there's little lanes that take you down to the beaches. So the thing that I like about here is you don't really feel as though you're in the middle of a tourist trap the same way as you would be if you went to like Bondi or Manly, which are the more like built up and famous beaches in this area. But hey, like what I'm going to do now over the next few minutes is, as we work our way up to Palm Beach, I'm going to pop into some of these beaches. I'll try and put the name of them, if they're labelled when I get to them, at the bottom of the video so that you know what you're looking for if you're making the trip up. But yeah, let's get onto the beach. Okay, I haven't made it very far after getting back in the car, so I'm probably about not even 5 minutes up the road, and I've stopped again because I just happened to see a sign for a lookout on the side of the road, and honestly, wait until I show you, I've just happened to stumble upon it. I can't believe no one told me this was here, but yeah, it's literally like postcard Australia. Wait, and I'll show you now. Now, if you do visit this one, unfortunately, the only way is up. So the views up here, wait until you see them, but it's definitely worth noting there is a lot of climbing. I definitely thought that this being a path at the end of a residential street, it can't have been that bad, but this thing, honestly, keeps on going. It's definitely worth it when you get to the top, but my advice here would be, if you do this trip, definitely take some water with you, because yeah, it gets pretty hot on the way up. Do you ever get that feeling when you start walking up a hill, thinking it's not going to be that far, and then you just wish you'd never started? Okay, the weird thing is, I left where I'm staying about, 3 hours ago, and I'm still 10 minutes away from finishing a 1 hour drive. This is just one of those places that you really probably need to budget the whole day for coming here, so if you are coming here on a cruise, pick where you want to go in and work your way back down south. So if you do what I'm doing, you literally could spend all day working your way up to Palm Beach, which, to be fair, is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not really in a rush today. But if time maybe isn't on your side and you're getting back to Sydney to get your ship, you probably want to keep that in mind. It's worth noting that from where I am right now, I'll turn the camera and show you, it's probably going to be difficult for you to see, but I actually can see Sydney in the distance, so you'd be able to see where your ship would be. Granted, I mean, there's no way you'd be able to see your actual ship from here, but pretty cool that you can be at what feels like in the middle of nowhere and still see the city in the background. Okay, so from that point, luckily, thank God, the only way was down. So we're now back pretty much where the car was. Now, you'll see here, this is like a cliff top walk that you take back to the car. So you've got the cliffs on the left-hand side, and you've got houses that, I mean, I dread to think how much those houses are worth, but you've got houses on the right-hand side, and then the cars are all parked at the end of this grass strip here. Okay, so that's us arrived at Palm Beach, and I'll take you out and show you what it's like outside the car in a second. But next week, when I'm on Coral Princess, we're actually docking in a place called Eden, which is not too far south of Sydney. Now, one thing that I am dying to try and do next week is to try and whale watch, because as you know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I failed miserably at it in Alaska a few months ago, so hopefully I can see a couple of whales here. Now, actually, when I was Googling Palm Beach, it turns out that whale watching is pretty popular to do here as well. So there's a lighthouse, which, lo and behold, it's at Palm Beach. Well, it's about a kilometre away, so I'm going to walk to it. But apparently it's one of the top places in New South Wales to see whales at this time of year. I feel like I'm saying whales a lot. But between May and November is the most common time of year to see them, as they apparently migrate north. So watch this space. Maybe actually before the cruise we'll be able to see them today, but not holding out. I'm not holding any breath if I could go to Alaska, which is like the whale capital of the world, and I didn't see any. The thought of coming here, grabbing a coffee and sitting on a bench and seeing them seems pretty far-fetched, but hey, who knows. So yeah, just leaving the car now, going up to apparently the #1 whale watching place, and I'll show you the beach on the way. Now, it is worth noting that when you get to the lighthouse, you've got the option of either a grade 2 or a grade 3 walk. Now, essentially what that means is you can take the easy route, which is like a hill the whole way up, or you can take the more difficult route, which is steps the entire way up. Anyone that knows me in the real world, I hope you're sitting down before I tell you this, but I actually chose to take the more difficult way to go up, which was essentially the steps the entire way, with the hope being the key word, of taking the easy route back down, but we'll get to that shortly. But yeah, I chose the way, it was steps the whole way. I'll leave you to enjoy the view, because actually it was pretty amazing, and yeah, I'll see you at the top. Now, after the walk up the hill, we arrived at the top. Now, on your screen at the moment, you can see the lighthouse, and what I'm about to show you is the view from the top. Now, the view, considering we started this walk at the level of the beach, it's really amazing. It shows you how quickly you can climb a real height, but looking down here is where you're meant to be able to see the whales, but I mean, I'll cut to the chase and tell you right now that not a single whale was seen, which, yep, I know, you probably didn't need me to tell you that, but yeah, I think you definitely would have needed binoculars to even see a hint of a whale from way up here. But hey, look, from that point on, I then decided to take, as I said, the easy way down, but unfortunately, that didn't quite go to plan. Okay, so the route to get downhill, or the easy route rather, isn't exactly that easy, so to get down, bear with me, we're way into a tree. To get down, you've literally got to go through, literally through the woods, which is mental. Anyway, beginning to think we're maybe not on the path anymore, but everyone else seems to be playing the same game, so watch this space and see if we actually get down. Apparently this only takes 15 minutes, but I've currently been walking for 25, and still, as you can see, turn that way, very much at the top of the hill. Yep, you guessed it, I went the wrong way. So I should have got to the top and turned left, and instead I turned right, which, yeah, led me along the cliff top path, which wasn't ideal. Now you can see here, the path on the way back down is so easy. It's, what, 10-15 minutes, and that gets you all the way to the beach at the bottom. Now, from here, it was a quick walk along the road to get the car, and then back along to one more beach before the sun went down. So as you can see behind, that's the sun now going down, which means that it's time for me to head back down into Sydney. Now, hope you've enjoyed today. The one bit of advice that I would give you if you're coming here on a cruise, or if you're coming up for the day or whatever, just give yourself as much time as possible. If you're on a ship, get up and get off ASAP so that you can maximise the time up here. This area is just absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit like a California type thing. It definitely feels that way. Or maybe it feels a bit more like Key West. Either way, it's really, really lovely. So look, thank you for watching today. The next video that you're going to see will be embarkation day on Coral Princess, which I, again, said earlier, as I get soaked by the wave, said earlier, but I can't wait to show you what that looks like and what cruising looks like at the moment on this part of the world as Australia gets back up and running again. But for now, look, thank you for watching, and yeah, catch up soon. Bye.